Here are my Ireland player ratings against the All Blacks. Not the best game for Ireland at all. Suffering a bit of a shock defeat here. And I wouldn't say the actual loss is what's a shock. I think it's how the loss happened. Not the best performance at all from Ireland. I mean, losing 40 points to 21 against the All Blacks. Lack of possession, lack of territory, lack of individual performances here, especially from key players. But before we do get into it, if you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. I really do appreciate all the support. We've just reached 3,000 subscribers. We're trying to reach 10,000. The Ireland fans, the Irish fans have been absolutely awesome on the channel. So I do appreciate all the support. And I have to preface it by saying a lot of the Ireland fans might not like these ratings. I've been asked to be a bit more brutal with my ratings, and I think some of these ratings might be brutal, not really in the forwards, but in the backline there might be a few, and I feel bad for some of these, so don't tell any of these players, they might not like me afterwards. So let's get right into it. Starting off with Tom O'Toole, I've gone for a 6 out of 10. Not a bad performance, not a good performance, but the one glaring thing that stands out to me was him losing the ball in contact in the first half. So the things that do stand out to me in the game, sometimes I carry those things into the player ratings and it makes my decision. But a 6 out of 10 for Tom O'Toole, not a bad game, still one of the better players for Ireland. And I think the whole of the Ireland team today just weren't up for it. Number 2, Dan Sheehan, I've gone for a 6 out of 10 as well. I understand the passion, I understand him wanting to get involved with these things, but he is the captain right now. And I heard the commentator say they like the way he was talking to the ref, but in my own opinion, I'm thinking, no captain should be talking to the ref like that after they've just been in a bit of a bust-up and a bit of a fight there, full of adrenaline, talking to the ref like that. I think most of the other refs in World Rugby would have stopped him right there and said, you're out of line. So maybe that's the one thing I didn't like from the game. He was okay. He wasn't really busy all over the park like usual. Didn't really get the kind of satisfaction of the line breaks he usually gets, the same kind of physical dominance. But that being said, the All Blacks did really well at holding this Ireland team, kind of playing them against their weaknesses here, holding them that they couldn't do anything, they couldn't play to their strengths. So 6 out of 10 for Dan Sheehan. And as well, a 6 out of 10 for Tide Furlong. I thought the front row was okay. Didn't really get dominated in the scrum battle. It was a pretty even, fair battle at scrum time. Wasn't too many scrums either. I thought Tide Furlong was okay. He made a lot of tackles as well. So 17 tackles. So I will have to give him the benefit of the doubt there. So he was a workhorse today with regards to that. Forced to make a lot of tackles, but didn't really do anything to change the game. So 6 out of 10. Moving on to number 4, Joe McCarthy. I've gone for an 8 out of 10. He is one of the forwards that stood out to me today. He was trying his best. He was playing with intensity. He was playing with passion. He was playing with kind of aggression, intensity, physicality. You could see that. And that one try that he scored was actually created by 2 of his good runs as well. So 3 good carries from him leading to his try. He deserved that try. I was very glad when he got that try because he was one of those guys in the game playing with a lot of intensity. And normally when Ireland have losses, he's been one of the guys that will criticize and say he wasn't up for it today intensity wise. He was just lacking around a bit, going through the motions. But I thought Joe McCarthy today was one of the guys that was not going through the motions, one of the few guys not going through the motions for Ireland. He played with intensity. He was actually one of the better guys on the field. Not sure of exactly how many stats he has to his name, how many tackles, how many carries, but he was a busy player around the park. So an 8 out of 10 for Joe McCarthy, probably and definitely one of the better scores in the team here. So if that it probably is the highest score here, I will just let that be known. But I thought Joe McCarthy was quite impressive. Moving on to number 5, James Ryan. I've gone for a 5 out of 10. He is one of those guys. He plays like a Tupou Vi. He gets under the opposition's skin. He hits rucks hard. He's playing with intensity. He smashes people around the park. He physically imposes himself. Today he was nowhere. I did not see James Ryan once. I tried to watch him. Yeah, of course, all these players make tackles. That's what their job is. They're here at international level. They have to make the tackles. No dominant tackles. No dominant play. No dominant rucks. No dominant collisions. He was nowhere today. He didn't even try to get under the skin of any players, of anyone. Of Cam Roigard, Ruben Love. He was doing nothing today. So a 5 out of 10 for James Ryan. A poor performance. And I've also actually gone for a 5 out of 10 for Tide Burn. A bit of a weird one. Maybe he should be higher. He did some things good, but some things poor as well. Handling was okay, but he was not at his best today. The things that really stand out to me today was Tide Burn and his negative moments, which is unfortunate to say because since I've started this channel, most of the things I've said about this Ireland team have been very positive. But today I have to be honest and say the forward pack and a lot of the players in the backline as well, but Tide Burn was not good today. I thought James Ryan was terrible today. I thought Tide Burn for him was terrible today. I know a lot of people can see this differently, so please let me know down below in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And if you do disagree, let me know why, because I just didn't see Tide Burn being good today. He tried a lot. I will give that to him. He tried a lot. Maybe I should boost the score up, but that being said, A lot of the things just didn't work out. A few penalties, a few knock-ons, a few loose balls as well. Wasn't at his best. A lot of the times today as well, he was on the line of getting a penalty against him for deliberately slowing down the opposition ball. So I was seeing that, and it was, I think as an Ireland fan, it must have been annoying to see that Ireland just couldn't get anything going today. Moving on to number 7, Josh van der Fleer. I've gone for a 6 out of 10. And you know, I said where there's normally one thing that stands out to me from a player in the game. Well, for Josh van der Fleer for this game, it was getting absolutely steamrolled by Xavier Numia, and that just shows how the game went for him. He carried a lot, he tried to tackle a lot, no dominant carries, no dominant tackles, got destroyed in the tackle fight a lot of the times today. So at a certain point, when a player's been a World Player of the Year player before, you can't just give them the scores if they try to do the work. They actually have to be effective with the work they do, and I thought Josh van der Fleer today was not effective. Same for Jack Conan, that's why I've gone for a 6 out of 10 for Jack Conan as well. Most of the things I remember from the game from Jack Conan was him nearly being held up in the tackles, being dominated backwards. Not a good day for the Ireland forward pack. They will have to go back to the drawing board, and they can't help it. I mean, I think the All Blacks did really well today of taking the game away from Ireland, keeping possession so that Ireland doesn't have possession, because once Ireland gets a lot more possession, a lot more time with the ball in hand, they become a much different team. You saw in the second half there when they had a little bit more ball for a little bit more of a longer period of time on average today, they started to play well. They started to look like they were going to crawl back. So Ireland have to go back to the drawing board. They have to figure out a way that if they are getting sucked out the game, how can they get back into the game? How can they grab that momentum back without the other team having to make a mistake? Because we've said it before, when another team makes a mistake, Ireland will always capitalize. But a team like the All Blacks today didn't make many mistakes. And in fact, when Ireland made a mistake, the All Blacks capitalized. So a lot to work on for the Ireland forward pack. Now moving on to the back line, this is where it can get a bit ugly. And a lot of these guys are some of my favorite players in the world. Starting off with Jamison Gibson-Park. I wouldn't say it was a horrible game for Jamison Gibson-Park, but for him, it was a horrible game. I've gone for a 4 out of 10 for Jamison Gibson-Park. Couldn't get anything going, but I have to preface this by saying, I know for a fact Jamison Gibson-Park and Sam Prendergast, their low scores isn't because they were put in the good positions and didn't do well with it. In fact, the forward pack played a role in that. They couldn't get the forward dominance, no clean ball at the breakdown. It's going to make Jamison Gibson-Park look bad. It's going to make Sam Prendergast look bad when the other forwards aren't running with motion. They're not running with speed onto the ball. They're playing flat off of him. He's getting the ball out the back with those loop plays they do. Nobody's running with intent. It's going to make them look bad, but I still have to give them the score. So a 4 for Jamison Gibson-Park. By far his worst game I've seen from him in a while. A lot of things didn't go his way. A few penalties against him, a few mistakes as well, but the forward pack did not help him out there, especially as a scrum off. When the forward pack was thriving against England, Jamison Gibson-Park was thriving. When the forward pack was thriving against Scotland, he was thriving. In patches against the Wallabies as well, he was thriving. So that just goes to show it's not just him being bad on the day, it's a lot of things going against him. And the same for Sam Prendergast. I've gone for a 5 out of 10. Don't think he was as bad for the level they normally play at. I thought Sam Prendergast tried a few things out, and you cannot, please Ireland fans, you cannot put all the blame on Sam Prendergast for this game. You absolutely cannot, because it's not all on him. Especially those loop plays where he gets caught out the back, he tries to make a pass to the wing. First of all, there's no depth on the wing player to actually catch the ball with speed. Yes, a few passes weren't actually going to hand. That's why he's got a 5 out of 10. But that being said, it's not his fault today. It's everybody's fault. I mean, if you think about it, if you're a scrum half or a fly half, especially a fly half, if you were to run those loops around the back that Ireland do so well, the Johnny Sexton loop, whatever you call it, if the players that have the ball in hand that are running the actual loop play are just standing still and it's so obvious the ball's going out the back, of course Sam Prendergast is going to be put in a very bad position, have to fight his way out of a corner, because I actually feel bad for him for this game, because he was really put in some terrible positions where things started to look good. He looked alright, but realistically there was no pace on the ball from the other players. There was lack of urgency today from Ireland, and it made Sam Prendergast and Jamison Gibson-Park get a 4 and a 5 out of 10 respectively. So moving on to the wings, Jimmy O'Brien, I've gone for a 4 out of 10. Not a good game for him. Couldn't get into the game. I thought Josh Morby and Will Jordan absolutely thrived against him today. He was left in the dust a few times out wide. Not really ready right now to make a big impact at this level, but also it's a kind of a product from the surrounding things happening throughout the game. All of these things built up, which made all of these different players have really bad performances and put them in a bad spot individually. So a 4 out of 10 for Jimmy O'Brien. Not a good performance. And then number 14, Rob Balakoon. I've gone for a 5 out of 10. barely got the ball. When he got the ball, couldn't do much with it. He was swarmed by the All Blacks defenders, and that just shows the All Blacks did such a good job of actually manipulating Ireland to have a bad game and not play the rugby they want. They were forced to play slow today. They were forced to have slow breakdowns. They were forced to play without the ball, and those three things are what Ireland love the most. They love having the ball in hand. They love having possession. There's other teams that don't. They love having possession. They love sucking the momentum out of the opposition team. They love getting over the advantage line and playing ball as quick as possible. They couldn't do that at all today. When they were able to do it, they scored a few tries, but only in patches. So it just goes to show Ireland could not find their rhythm today, and it's because the All Blacks played well. Now moving on to the centres, this is where it gets even more ugly. One of the best players in the world this year, Stuart McCloskey, has probably just taken himself out of the nomination for World Player of the Year. A 3 out of 10, missed 4 tackles, couldn't get over the advantage line, looked like he was going to get held up the whole time, and Quinn Tupaia and Geordie Barrett absolutely dominated McCloskey and Gary Ringrose today. They could do nothing. And in fact, I thought Gary Ringrose was better today. I gave him a 4 out of 10. But realistically, those guys did nothing as a combination today. And at some point, they're going to have to make some changes there, because Gary Ringrose is a great player. He really is. But since the Six Nations, I've been asking, please can Gary Ringrose just have one standout performance where he plays like him old self? Yet to see it. I mean, maybe it's time to start looking at different options, different opportunities for some players. Maybe a Bundi Aki and a Stuart McCloskey together. I don't know what they're going to do there. But of course, this could just me being way overboard right now, because that's such a bad game. It could be an overreaction. But Stuart McCloskey, a 3 out of 10. Couldn't do anything today. Really looked poor today. He looked very poor today. Looked like one of the weaker players on the field. And Gary Ringrose, I could see the potential there. He was trying a lot, but just didn't go his way. And of course, number 15, Hugo Keenan, I've gone for a 6 out of 10. Didn't really see too much from him, but the things he did do today was alright. He played the game plan well. He used his fundamental basics well. So 6 out of 10 for him. And of course, for the replacements, I've gone for a 5 out of 10 for Ireland. Not good, not horrible, but really not good. So about below average. So 5 out of 10 for the replacements for Ireland. And I feel so bad giving some of these scores. But it is about time that some of these players actually get given scores that they deserve. Because first of all, Ireland's been really good after that game against France in the Six Nations. They were excellent. Of course, the second half of the Italy game, they were good. Destroyed England, one of their best performances ever. Destroyed Scotland. Close game against Wales, but Wales is on the up. Snuck out a win against Australia. Okay game against Japan. Got taught a lesson against the All Blacks. So the inconsistency is still there from Ireland. They have to fix a lot of things. But I think the one thing they can take from this tour, a lot of players have gained experience. They have a break now. They still have to play South Africa and Ireland later this year. They're going to play Argentina as well and Fiji. So realistically, they should be the favourites for 2 of those games. They have to have a much better performance against South Africa than they did here against the All Blacks. Otherwise, it will be a long day as well. But they have a well-earned break now. They've been playing a lot of rugby. So you can kind of see it starting to creep in. Maybe these players are playing too much rugby. But that being said, if you do agree with these ratings, let me know down below in the comments. If you disagree, let me know why. Thank you so much for all the support. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.